Thank you for joining me to the last content webinar for 2022, Content Transformed. My name is Tamar Ganol, and I am the Content Product Manager at Exlibris. In this webinar, we will look back at all the great things done for content in 2022 and have a sneak peek to 2023. The agenda for the webinar today will begin with a short overview of the organizational updates in the Content Operations team. We will then proceed to the 2022 content summary. After that, I will share content operations outlook for 2023. So let's start with the team. We are Content Operations. In our team, there have been 2 organizational updates. Vivian Antwi is now the Director of Provider Relations, which is a team that is in charge of reaching out to providers and communicating with them regarding the content they send us for the knowledge bases and the Discovery Index. I'm also new in content operations. I started on October 2022 as the Content Product Manager after 12 years of being a librarian at the Hebrew University, and I overview the different aspects of content operations as well as communicating these aspects to customers. But the rest of the team, the development team, which handles the discovery and delivery operations, the research operations, and the content support, which handles discovery support and delivery support, they are all veterans working together to improve content across the different platforms and products. Let's start with the content summary for 2022. This has been a very good year for content in Exlibris. The emphasis was on data excellence. This was the theme for 2022. We asked ourselves, how can we improve data and what makes data excellent? And we identified 3 pillars as what makes data excellence and pushing data to maximize its value. The first pillar, the high quality. Once the quality of the data is evaluated, standardized, and improved, this takes data to the next level and makes a real difference for the users. But high quality data is not enough if it is not discoverable. How easy it is to reach, how easy it is to retrieve. This is the second pillar, the discoverability. High quality without discoverability is not maximizing the content's value. The third pillar completes the building blocks of excellent data, how current the data is. If the data is of high quality and discoverable, it also needs to be up to date in order to make a meaningful impact for the end user. Keeping the data current sometimes comes at a cost of being accurate or discoverable. This is an ongoing trade-off, which we consider, and it can be a very difficult choice sometimes. After identifying these components of data excellence, the team was looking into ways of bringing these values into our routines and initiatives. So every initiative for 2022 was derived out of the concept that the content needs to be current, complete, and discoverable. The impact of data excellence is fluctuating in services, resource management in Alma, discovery services in Primo, Primo VE, and Summon, acquisitions in Rialto, research workflows in Esploro, linking in SFX and 360, resource sharing in Rapido. All these services are intertwined and affected by how much the content is current, complete, and discoverable. If we look at some numbers, we started 2022 with over 58,000 collections in the knowledge bases. That is Alma, 360, and SFX. And now we're at over 74,700 collections in the knowledge bases. We are keeping the 15% annual growth rate, and we expect it to stay this way for 2023 as well. In CDI, we started with 4.7 billion records of a large variety of content types, from title level of books and journals to the more granular level of articles and book chapters, and also data sets, videos, etc. Today, we are at 5.14 billion records, meaning we kept the 10% annual growth rate and expect it to continue for 2023. All this content, all these data types are maintained and ingested in our systems, and we took it upon ourselves to prioritize and improve currency, completeness, and discoverability for content. So let's start with the first pillar, the quality. The quality of the data, how we measure it, how we improve it, and how we adjust ourselves in order to enhance the quality of the content. So how do we improve the metadata? We start with the measurements. What are the qualitative comparable features of data that can be analyzed and decided as a solid criteria to evaluate? We measure quality by using our internal quality score and brief level metric score. The brief level score is based on the record content, and it gives us a pretty good view of what is the enrichment level of the record. It ranges between 1 and 10, and it helped us identify collections with brief records. These collections with brief records that are highly activated and need to be improved, we put our focus on them. We also developed an internal quality score to address records that lack fields, such as identifiers, because the material type does not have it, such as videos, but they still have rich bibliographic records, thus they are not in need of enrichment. Measuring the quality of the records is key in understanding what is the enrichment level, where we want to be in terms of enrichment, and how to achieve it. And sometimes it can point us in the direction of specific fields that once added, they can boost the enrichment level significantly. Identifying brief level collections, we investigated our internal routines and found out that some of the routines could be adjusted to boost the quality score. So actually rewriting some rules for the ingestion helped bringing records from brief level to enriched. Another effort was directed towards improving the source of the data. That included communicating our requirements to providers and searching enrichment sources such as OECD library, OCLC print records, and other sources that brought the enrichment level from very low to high scores. We also had an enrichment pilot for selected book collections that are highly activated. These collections were chosen based on their low enrichment level and their high usage. Over 20,000 records were enriched externally and brought up from a brief level of an average of 4 to an enriched level of an average of 8. Imagine what this does to discovering the bibliographic records that you're searching. This pilot will continue until the end of 2022. By the end of 2022, it will bring us up to 50,000 enriched records. We hope you noticed the difference, and we plan on extending this track for other collections in 2023, based on their quality score, their brief records, and the amount of activations. The next factor for data excellence is discoverability, meaning making the content easier to find and less clicks to access. For easier to find, the latest outcome of this effort is adding book chapters for eBook Central nonfiction titles in CDI. In November 2022, we started with the first load of 55,000 records. Although this brought forth different issues, which we did not anticipate, we are now currently handling them so they will appear properly in CDI results. Since we started this process gradually with a small amount of book chapters, it will be easy for us to address these issues on a small scale. We will gradually load more content until 20 million book chapters will appear in CDI with direct linking to the full text. This initiative will make eBook Central book chapters more discoverable will boost search results, and will give you better statistics for your purchased content. Another discoverability initiative is Quick Links, which is already picking up and spreading to more and more providers. We currently have 26 providers, which cover over 10,500 collections, meaning institutions that activated Quick Links have direct links to 1.55 billion records, PDF, HTML, either or both. Over 250 institutions have active access to Quick Links providers, with at least 100 clicks in November, and over 400 institutions are currently active or testing Quick Links. The latest count shows more than 300,000 clicks in November, and the numbers keep growing. The success of Quick Links is greatly due to the Link Checker tool. This is an internal tool that serves both as gatekeeper to check linking accuracy for new providers' content, as well as routine checkups that sample links from existing Quick Links provider. The Link Checker currently stands at 99% success rates, meaning that Quick Links will provide accurate direct links to PDFs and or HTML 99% of the time. We can say that for Quick Links, we prefer quality over quantity, and if a provider cannot give us such success rates, then we will prefer not to add it to the Quick Links initiative. Peer review in CDI was specifically a request from the CDI advisory group. Taking into consideration what the community wants to see in CDI, this initiative adds more than 45 million correct peer review indications in CDI. Although we started from 506 million articles with peer review indications, now we're almost at 551 million articles with correct peer review indications, meaning that the content which is peer reviewed is more discoverable in CDI. The last track, the last pillar, is current. The current aspect, meaning how up to date we are. And we were looking at ways, we were looking for ways to proactively staying up to date and reflect changes of any kind. So we'll start with one of the most important steps was to enhance rights in CDI by improving rights processing times. We reduced the turnaround from 72 and 48 hours, and now the rights processing time stands at below 35 hours median time. We expect these times to even get shorter during 2023, and our goal is to reduce processing time to as low as 24 hours. We also took several proactive actions to improve currency, as in keeping our content up to date. The first bullet, enhanced reports allowing agile proactive improvements to currency issues, meaning that we created enhanced reports analyzing currency issues in our automated collection updates in the knowledge bases. These agile reports allow us to review which collections have been updated and when, and if there were errors during the update process. We can produce a report at any time, so we can flag and investigate of automation update errors proactively before even. This is also done in CDI, but in a smaller scale and not for all collections, only to the top activated collections. We constantly improve and automate different aspects of these reports. And in 2023, we expect to include more content for CDI monitoring reports and add more features to the knowledge bases report. Another action we're proactively initiating is weekly cases analysis. Driving proactive automation improvement following weekly cases trends means that we analyze cases on a macro scale. And this allows us to identify collection trends that are built on single title cases, sometimes opened by different customers. This analysis can draw our attention to the macro level of the collections based on the single title cases that are opened every week and sometimes by different institutions. Another game-changer initiative is introducing direct ingest to the collection ingest process. We currently have Cambridge Collections with 417 collections and JSTOR with 285 collections, both journals and books. These are in direct ingest process, meaning how long does it take from provider to CZ? As less as 24 hours between receiving the updates from the provider to the changes being reflected in Alma. Meaning that name changes, new titles, edits, deletions will be shown much quicker. We will continue moving providers to direct ingest during 2023. Stay tuned for news. Another currency-focused project is the eBook Central Daily Updates. Using a new API, there are direct uploads of new eBook Central titles, making the collections in the knowledge bases accurate and up to date. Although we started in November 2021, today we stand at 262,000 eBook Central titles, and currently over 90% of these eBook Central titles appear in Alma. More exciting news from content. We can't talk content without mentioning support. So customers' experience with content support improvement. We are constantly striving to improve content support in different ways. We are doing so by looking back and giving high attention to reduce the backlog. In 2022, we introduced Project Flash, which took the load off our support team so they can give the proper attention to new cases. Aging cases were transferred to specialized task forces, which helped our support teams focus on new cases and make sure that new cases will not be delayed on account of cases that some of which are no longer relevant. And we are also increasing capacity and recruiting more analysts for our support teams. You can see in the graph how the backlog is being reduced. And at the same time, since May of 2022, more cases are closing than cases that are opening. Another new feature introduced for content this year is the recently added collection management level. There are 5 collection levels, managed by Exlibris, which is the bulk of the content. Community managed collections, which are 5 collections that from now on the community can edit, add, or delete records. This independence frees the community from opening cases on collections that Exlibris cannot verify with any known provider. Contributed collections are those that were provided by institutions to cover a gap that cannot be addressed by providers. The contributing institutions have put in a lot of effort into these collections, and it is highly appreciated by the community. And Exlibris, thank you very much for making the community zone a richer and diverse knowledge base. The label of not maintained collections will be assigned to collections that were offered by providers that are not responsive or for some other reason are closed collections that cannot be maintained by whoever handed the initiative. And collections that are pending deletion will also receive a label, informing the user community that the collection was requested to be deleted by the provider or by the contributing institution. Another interesting feature will show you a short overview of regional activations for community zone collections. Now we can do activation outreach of collections in your region and in other regions. There are the Asia Pacific region, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, North America, Latin America, and total activations. Check out your regional content and you may surprise you. So looking back for 2022 initiatives, We can see ebook rulebook chapters through ingest, rights processing time, quick links, peer review and CDI, upgrading metadata. All these initiatives are derived from our concept of what makes data excellent and how can we improve the data in a sustainable way. And we looked for the paths that are most impactful for the community and for your end users. So looking forward for 2023, we do have our long-term content and data focus. With the first one is to improve transparency and communication. By making our actions more transparent and evident for the end users and for the providers, we hope to reduce uncertainty and build a stronger, trustworthy relationship. Another focus for 2023 is targeting the new content lifecycle, including collections, databases, and authority vocabularies. Today, requests for new content come from different stakeholders. They can come from the providers or from libraries or from a nurse or ideas exchange. But the new content lifecycle is hard to prioritize, and it's hard to schedule the right processes and find the best value of content, of new content to add to the knowledge bases and to the discovery index. So we're looking at building a sustainable and trackable new content requests workflow. We hope to address new content in a better way, so we can also reflect regional needs, but include content which supports diversity, equity, and inclusion. Other than our long-term content and data focus areas, we're looking to make content in Xlibris service more current, complete, and discoverable by moving on to 2023 with data excellence first and foremost, keeping the quality, discoverability, and currency initiatives that we had during this year. We're looking forward to keeping them in 2023. Operational efficiency to improve updates is basically improving the monitoring and making more proactive taking more proactive actions in order to find the bottlenecks and any errors that might impact the community. Especially monitoring our automated processes can give us better control on our operations team processes. Looking forward to reduce turnaround time for new content and for updated content. Improving the report's features will allow us to better understand the content lifecycle within our different systems. The third bullet, communication and collaboration with customers and providers. We're looking forward and we're looking for ways to improve and increase communication with customers via the working groups, either the content working group or the CZ management group, but also with providers. We strive to better serve our mutual customers. With both customers and providers, we're looking for new ways to establish better relationship, better communication, and better transparency. And the customer experience with customers, with content support, we will keep pushing forward for content support improvements, reducing the backlog, increasing capacity, and decreasing the response times. So finished earlier than I expected. And I thank you very much for attending and for listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, or you can also send send emails. My address is here.
Perfect, Tamar. Okay. Thank you very much. We do have a few questions that have come in. You can just keep your slides up if you can. That way, if somebody doesn't get your email address,
maybe I'll just put it in the chat.
Okay, you can do that. First question is: are some titles or providers excluded from the peer review setting at the article level? I thought it used to be solely at the journal title level.
Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, no problem. Are some titles or providers excluded from the peer review setting at the article level? I thought it used to be solely set at the journal title level.
Not that I'm aware of, but I will check.
Okay. I've got the individual's name, and I can pass that along to you so you can reach back out to them. The next question is, near the beginning of the webinar, you mentioned the enrichment pilot as one of the projects that has been ongoing throughout 2022. What type of records are included in the enrichment pilot? Are they community zone portfolio records or CDI records or both?
They're bibliographic records for book collections.
Okay. Another question that came in is, in terms of the 5 times collection management statuses, do the collections in the community zone display those status tags anywhere? For example, if a collection is pending deletion, is this information stated anywhere in the collection in ALMA that is visible to users?
Yes, the label shows, not, if you remember the regional activations, wait, let me just go back. Okay, so you see the management level is right here. So the management level will also say pending deletion.
Okay. I'm checking, and I don't think I have any other questions that have come in. So if you want to go ahead, oh, hold on, somebody just sent one in. Person just clarified their question. I didn't ask that very well. My apologies. So maybe the obverse makes more sense. What providers are you working with to review articles for peer review status? That was for the first question.
I'll have to check.
Okay.
I'll check and I'll let you know.
Okay, sounds good. And I have that
Regarding
name. Yep.
Yeah, regarding the management level, also, I'd like to add that we are planning to push notifications more actively for these collections that are pending deletion to customers who specifically activated these collections, meaning that if you have a collection that is pending deletion, you will receive a targeted notification. That's something that we're working on, and we hope to introduce to our ALMA customers during 2023.
Okay. There's a couple other comments that came in. First comment is that this is exciting news, better than at the title level. The next question is the management level searchable within ALMA?
Unfortunately, we don't have these facets and you can't currently search by it, but that's a great idea. And that's also something that, in my opinion, needs to be added as a searchable field. So
Okay.
I'll try to push for it.
Okay. Another suggestion that you mentioned in the previous webinar is always to submit ideas through the idea exchange, of which there is one for content.
Yes, yes.
So another question that came in is, we have a lot of local records that we are grouping together into collections and trying to link to the community zone where possible. Sometimes the link to community job causes problems because a match can't be found, or we end up with mismatches and multi-matches. Can you explain the logic of how this job works, as ALMA does not give us much information and there isn't much information in the Knowledge Center?
This is more of a product question for ALMA product, and I would suggest opening a case for the ALMA product team. But the thing is that having localized portfolios or localized items, usually it has either multi-matches because of different fields that have I don't know, the same identifiers or the same titles, because the matches is being done on several fields. So for the matching process, it's easy to get lost and to fail to find the specific item to append the local item to the community zone one. But again, it's more of a product question. I would suggest opening a case for that. And if you can also mention in the chat, I'm just curious if it's if these actions are being done based on DARA recommendation. I think I'm just interested in hearing your experience.
Okay, another question that came in is, do you add subjects to bib records via enhancement to the eBook Central ebooks? There are about 4,000 records without subjects.
Oh, I'll have to check that. Not sure what the process is, if there's a bulk process, or sure, no one wants to do it manually, but I'll need to check if there's a bulk process for that.
Okay. Somebody asks that they have a ticket in about that or something similar. But I don't have any other questions outside of the fact that somebody did ask if the recording was going to be made available. Yes, the slides in the recording will be made available. So if you want to make some concluding remarks, and if anybody has any remaining questions that they want to ask, I can just interject those after your concluding remarks. But thank you very much, Tamar, and take it away.
Thank you very much for your questions and for attending. I've also added my email address in the chat, so feel free to reach out for questions. I do think it's a very exciting time to work with the content team, and I look forward for the upcoming year. We have some very exciting and good initiatives, and as always, I appreciate the community's feedback and working with the working groups. I know that the content working group is looking for more volunteers, so I'd be happy to see you there too.
Perfect. Tamar, we do have one last question that came in, which sometimes happens. Is there any information information anywhere about which specific collections have been improved during the enrichment pilot and which collections are next?
I do have a list. It's a list of ebook collections that had low quality scores for books, and I can extract that list. I know that it's currently being developed. I mean, this morning when I was talking in the earlier session, the numbers were about 20,000 records enriched, and now I heard that we're already up to almost 30,000, and by the end of the year we'll be at 50,000. So this is a very dynamic process. I'm not quite sure which collections are currently being enriched, but I will check this and I'll distribute the information.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Tamar, for presenting today. We welcome you to the Ex Libris and Clarivate family. And thank you very much, everybody, for attending the session. Have a delightful rest of December, and we'll look forward to talking to you again next year. So thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.